Hi, Meg. How are you?
Good morning, Shelley. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's a pleasure to chat with you, especially on the occasion of the Miami Book Fair 2020, when we are now all virtual.
So
It's an
exciting.
experience, isn't it? Though I love the in-person interviews and the in-person connection at the usual Miami Fair
Right.
marketplace. You walk and you meet people, but this year is a little bit different, and we have to learn to go with the flow. So here we are together
I'm so happy to be
sharing.
with you. One of the most amazing things about the Miami Book Fair is all the incredible people from Miami who show up and,
Exactly.
engage from this space. Like we're all used to it now, but,
Yes.
just to have you and that's still beautiful. I love it. So let's do this, Shelley.
All right. So my name is Dr. Shelley Cameron, and I'm here with Meg Nocero. Meg is I'm going to have a conversation with her. She's a speaker, coach, my favorite, recovering attorney, and award-winning author. She's also the founder of Butterflies and Bliss of Shine Networking Incorporated. So we're going to chat a little bit with Meg now to find out more about her and delve deeper into her background experiences and her decision to be an author. My first question to you that I'm so intrigued by, as I have done some research on leadership and success, quite a bit of research. That's my getaway thing that I did, and I spent over 2.5 years chatting with leaders of organization, at the heads of organization in different industries from healthcare, aviation, financial, and the like. And I found out what the secrets were of success strategies of
Yeah.
leaders in the United States. And one thing, I just published my book, which is called, here it is, Ditch It, Switch It, which
There
is
you
your
go.
career, ditch it or switch it. And I'm taken aback by you because I am here talking about individuals who have their careers, and rather than staying very miserable and all, why stay in a career that is you're miserable in? Move on. So I'm delighted now to chat with you because you're a recovering attorney. Tell us about how you made that decision.
I love that you have that beautiful book, Ditch It or Switch It, because literally that is what it's all about. If you're at a point in your life where you're totally stuck and miserable, you have a choice.
Right.
You can switch. So you're not stuck in the corner. And I think for me, it came to a point in time where I had been doing litigation for 20 years. And if you know many litigators, you get burnt out. You're constantly on, you're in court. One of the most amazing things about litigation is that you get to interact with people on a daily basis. It's the same
Right.
idea, like meeting people on Zoom or meeting people in person when you sign books. So that part of it, I loved. I loved interacting with the people. It was just, I was prosecutor. So for immigration prosecutor. So, I was always looking for people, to pick out their lies. So after 20 years of basically cross-examining people for a living, I thought everybody was lying to me. So honestly, at a point in time, you're just like, I don't want to live life like this. I want to believe that people can have honesty and integrity. And I'm not always questioning and always looking at their body language and seeing how they show up and how they go. So, at the end of the day, I was like, I wanted to turn to something else. I wanted to switch it.
Yes.
And I had in 2015 published my first book. And I really love to engage from the word, from the written word. And that was something that really resonated with me was I was able, after I put the time in, as writing is, definitely
Yes.
commitment to putting that time in, having two books under your belt, that, and, putting it in, committing to that result, and then seeing where that's going to take you opens so many new doors. So I knew that I wasn't stuck. I did negotiate with myself because it was a leap of faith to leave a 20-year career. That was kind of terrifying at the time. I was like,
Yes.
oh my God, what if I fail? This is really not going to be a fun party for me because I have a family and I have responsibilities. But, I think because I have a family and responsibilities, I didn't want to be the unhappy mom. I wanted to be someone who could tell my kids, find your passion and align it to your purpose and figure out a way to navigate in that respect. And I'm grateful for my 20 years. I have so much experience, and you know, one of the coolest things that I learned from being an attorney is that listening is so important, which, you know, being an interviewer, as you know, because you're doing this more often, you know, and also because you're a leadership, you hang out in the realm of leadership, so you see the skills where leaders sit back and allow the others to set forth and actually offer ideas. It's so important. So the listening component, and also being able to articulate something back, you know, being able to, you know, use insight and articulate that back. So, you know, the recovering part, you know, I still will cross-examine people if I think they're lying. Ask my kids. They get away with nothing, 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 nothing. But it's really kind of opened up my world to people who are in your business and other authors, and really it's more fun for me because I get to learn something new and also show up differently, which is the switch it, you know, the switch it, so I can, you know, sparkle and shine, which is the name of my book that I'm showcasing this year in Miami Book Fair. So, you know, that's really exciting.
Okay, perfect. So what I would like to do is what I walked away with your being dissatisfied with lack of trust, not being able to trust others anymore, because a lot of us sometimes, and I have been there as well, after a while, your job becomes your life and you need to like step out. So as a result of that, and my background is managing organization leadership, human resources and stuff. And after being in it and achieve the highest success in that regard, as far as my definition is concerned, it was blurring the lines between life and the desire to help other people. So I switched mine and I went into the research. And that's what happened with me. I went into research to see if I could help broader society, members in the society who needs help, because I am tired of hearing people saying that they're sitting in a job that they are absolutely miserable in and don't want to move on. Hence the reason I asked you about your sojourn as a lawyer and that step that you took out. The thing is, what I like about it is the fact that you're saying that you were also stuck. You mentioned that word, and I caught that word because that's where a lot of people are. They're stuck and they don't know how to do it. And that's what I spoke quite a bit about in my book. This book, Just the Same, Ditch It, Switch It. And I wanted to jump into your book. And if you can tell us a little bit about that, because I think that had a little bit in it as well.
Yes.
And the services that you also provide.
You know what, the cool thing I think about what you're doing now with your switch it, you know, research and is that curiosity part of life that people seem to, you know, when they get stuck, they're like, oh, I'm done. I don't know what to do. And they just put their hands up. But what you start to do, especially in research, right, when you start to ask those questions that will lead to answers and lead to new paths, I think that's fantastic because the curiosity and the openness is truly going to allow you more movement. So you feel that you can start moving forward. And one of the things that I did with my second book, this is my second book. My first one was The Magical Guide to Bliss, which was a guide through the year, 366 insights of the day. This, I made 108 mantras to brighten your day and lighten your way. It's called Sparkle and Shine. So I have it here too.
Perfect.
And you know, one of the things that I really wanted to do was give people tools that they could go to if they want to be synchronistic about it, open the book to any page and just read from the page, to start giving them affirmations to be that movement forward for them. So they train their brain a little differently. So the stuck part happens when you feel like there's nowhere to go. You're like hit a wall. And then when you start to get curious, like you said, the research component, you got tired of hearing people say they have nowhere to go. So you start to, you know, research around that and find answers for people. The same thing goes with tools. These are the tools and the affirmation tools that you give to start laying out different kinds of neural pathways and habits and start reassuring yourself. So for instance, if you wanted to open, so give me a number, Shelley, whatever number comes to mind.
5.
So you'd go to my book and you turn to page 5, and the mantra for that day would be, I'm enthusiastic about life, right? So that would be something that you would repeat to yourself all day. And if you're like, okay, so if I'm enthusiastic about life, I can't sit there and be like bored by life because I'm telling myself something differently. So, and it also follows by a passage as well. And if I could read it really quick, just a part of it that I can read it, so that you can, you know, you can inspire whoever wants to listen, because it goes to the point where enthusiasm is contagious. Even when you look at the meaning of the word enthusiasm, one can experience intense and eager enjoyment as defined in the dictionary. The etymology or derivation of the word enthusiasm can be traced to the root entheos, which means in God, inhabited and guided by the life force itself. And it goes on further and says, when I'm enthusiastic, I come alive again with passion that bursts from within. Shake things up with enthusiasm, and it will literally spice up your life. So find something in your life today to be enthusiastic about. Like I get to talk to you, Shelly. Totally excited about that. So I will show up because I'm like, oh, there's something going to happen really wonderful here. The curiosity overtakes me, and I start to wonder.
Right. So there's as you mentioned that, and they open a page. My book, GreenLight. This book is similar to that. This is a book that was published. It was published 2 years ago, 2018. But what I did, I responded to audiences who asked about, hey, I don't like to read. There's some who wants the audiobook. So I responded to that, and that one came out. So GreenLight is out, and it is in audio format. So they have both the book to read and also the audio form that they can listen to. What also happens is that in doing that, Matthew McConaughey, he published his book, but his book is with an S. So I ended up tracking now. Every time you're searching for green lights, my book comes up. So sometimes things happen that way. And people are saying, why share about Matthew McConaughey's book? I have no problem in doing that, simply because there are some similarities. He went away. It is from journaling, and he went away to journal. And I also went to Washington, D.C. to finish my research. And while I was doing that, I was journaling. And at the end of it, I brought them all together. And in bringing it all together, I ended up with the book, which is what Matthew also did. He went away to write his book. He was looking at his journal and said, oh, let me go away a year. He took a year off, and he delved into his journal, and he came out with a book. And the book is just snippets at a time, as you mentioned about your own book. So sometimes we have to follow the leading, because it's not a reading book where you're going to read like a novel. This one is different. It's an inspirational book, and it provides daily exhortations for individuals who want to feel encouraged. So I thought I'd just drop that in, because when you're talking, there is some form of similarities there.
And you know, I have to tell you right now, a lot of people, that word greenlighting your dreams. And it's really powerful, because you're basically giving yourself the permission by virtue of reading your insights or whatever tools you come up with to step into a world where your dreams can in fact come true. You give them empower and you move it forward. So that's beautiful. And I love the fact that, you know, it's tracking right now, because, you know, another person also sees green light, you know, as a permission to go. And like you said, when God says go, that's the subtitle to your book. So it's beautiful. I absolutely encourage many people, when they're, you know, getting excited and playing with that world, that magical world of what can I do now, to, like, you know, take tools like your book, GreenLight, or Sparkle and Shine, or anything that speaks to them, so that they can turn into this world of possibilities rather than away from and contract from the you know, potential that is their life. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. So this is why this one is my 8th book, and that's simply because I have been delving into leadership and success and helping others through motivational quotes and all, in order to come up with how can you develop personally as yourself. So I wanted to jump into another question for you. Tell us about what makes your journey magical, because your books are all magical.
Well, as you know, I hung on to the word magical. You know, I think that there comes a point in time in life that you can see things, and Einstein says it, as if nothing is a miracle, or as if everything is a miracle. Well, I love to see through the eyes of the Roald Dahl quote. Look around you. There's magic everywhere you look. And when you see life through those eyes, then you will start to see the beauty of the world a lot differently, and find the magic where others do not see it. And I do believe the cool thing is, and I've said this many times, and I know many people who have followed me listen to me, quote Mary Oliver, living a conscious life, is the awareness portion, where you pay attention, you be astonished and tell about it. And what that does is it really gives permission for others to see the world magically as well. Not take what's handed to you, but look at it differently and say, oh, this is an opportunity there, and I didn't see it before because I chose not to. Now I choose to try to find the kernel of sparkliness or shininess where others don't see it. And truly, as visionaries see things that way. They see the opportunity in what others wipe off as just everyday commonalities. So, and leaders, as you're study the leaders of all time, they see opportunity where others do not, and that really is magical. So when I grab around the notion of this magical journey, and everyone questions, oh God, she's a little strange. I don't, this is okay. I clearly will own how I show up, because that really brings me happiness. And if life is all about what really makes you happy without harming anyone else, let's make sure we put that in there. Then, they gotta put that in there. You do not want to harm others to get to your happy place. You want to bring them along, collaborate perhaps, but not hurt anybody. Then at the end of the day,
that's where the personal growth comes into play. It segues me into the other question that I wanted to ask you, which is, how do you awake to deep, powerful personal and professional change? How do you awake to that?
Well, you definitely you said before that you have a different source. And I believe in God, and I believe, sometimes when I'm feeling really stuck or, trapped in a situation, I give it over. I surrender, whatever it is. I say, this is what I want. Nothing seems to be falling in line with what I want. I have to trust the process. So I will do what I can and then be still. And truly, a lot of people say, well, what are the tools that you might use? And I do a lot of writing exercises where I ask the question and allow, the channel through and, in longhand, write it out. And then maybe I'll get a kernel or an idea that helps me. In other respects, profoundness comes with simplicity as well. Stepping back and seeing you and the beautiful colors of your shirt and against the yellows, and how it makes me feel happy, and your beautiful smile. That is very profound for someone who chooses to see it rather than passing it by. So I find a lot of deeper understanding, in the moments in time, especially now that we've all gone through such a crazy year, I would say, where, a lot of people are wondering what's going on. And then, you try to, okay, take a deep breath, and what is the opportunity there? Or how can I see things differently so that I can still move forward, even though it feels like we might be stuck? And that's a lot of wisdom from time. And I don't think as 20-year-old, I would have felt the same way. Believe me, my teenagers.
No. And that's the reason why I said personal development, personal growth, that all leads to success, and following your passion, knowing when to jump from one area to the next. And sometimes it is from one career into the next. Sometimes it actually is into entrepreneurship. Sometimes it is that as writers, you become entrepreneurs. There's no choice, because you got to know how to get the book out there. And your book, which is a #1 selling book, can you hold it up again?
So this is Sparkle and Shine.
Right. And keep it there for a little bit. Keep it there.
This is proof. So it's my proof. I was playing around with it. But I also have my matching. So these are my two babies now. My babies that are out in the world, the Magical Guide to Bliss and Sparkle and Shine.
Right.
And, I have to tell you, my intention to write all of these was to help myself, to heal myself. And I think most authors feel a need to, let loose or release that calling, that yelling in the head sometimes, that needs to be said. Clearly helping people get unstuck. Also greenlighting their dreams, and ditch it or switch it. My God, those words alone can empower someone to move on. And mine is just like, if you need a guide, I follow this, and it took me to this, and now it's taken me to finish a memoir that's coming out next September. So it's just really a beautiful trusting the process and
Right.
and engaging with wonderful people as I get to meet, you know, and
Right.
even in
Right.
the Miami Book Fair virtually, we'll meet many there. So,
Yes.
you know, it's really a beautiful experience.
That's perfect. I love to see those books that you have. And where are people able to find that book? Where is it
So
available?
Sparkle and Shine is available on Amazon right now
Yeah.
and other book like Barnes and Noble online, etc. Or you can contact me at Meg Nocero at mac.com and I have a gift set. I have Sparkle and Shine with affirmation cards and I'll assign copies and you can purchase through me directly and I'll do the same. So, and that same goes for Magical Guide to Bliss. It's on all booksellers online, specifically Amazon and bookshop.org and Barnes and Noble, but you can also ask for me at Meg Nocero, Nocero.com. I mean, sorry,
Right.
at mac.com. Yes.
Right. So I'm seeing you're very active on Facebook as well.
Yes.
And so if people want to find you, they can also find you on social media,
Absolutely.
Facebook, and you're also on LinkedIn and all. So you're anywhere. So it's easily accessible.
I'm everywhere. Virtually, I'm everywhere.
Virtually, I'm everywhere.
Virtually.
And I'm there at shellycameron.com, which is pretty simple, shellycameron.com. So been a pleasure chatting with you,
Such a
Meg. Any
pleasure.
parting words that you'd like to
You
share?
know, I think that the most wonderful thing that you can do for yourself is give your dreams a chance. And I think that, you know, you never know who you're going to meet. I had the wonderful opportunity to meet Dr. Shelley and many others as well through this obvious stepping into the future of what I want that aligns with my passion and purpose. So, I mean, so give yourself a chance, green light your dreams and sparkle and shine a little bit, you know, and do yourself the favor by using those things that you have at your side to start moving yourself forward. So you can be those leaders that others follow, like Shelley.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you. And what I'm walking away with is give your dreams a chance. I think that's a perfect way for us to end this discussion. Thank you so much, Meg, for sharing your path from being a lawyer and how you're recovering from that
Yes.
trust to others, giving that trust to others. Give your dreams a chance. Thank you very much, Meg.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Shelley. Have a wonderful day.
You too.